everyone. I am Ariba Tariq Lutfi and welcome to Sante's weekly broadcast, Nazariya, the power of experience. On Nazariya, our focus would be to bring forward the experiences of Pakistan's leading ophthalmologists in their practice of treating glaucoma, and we want them to share their experience with the world, and especially with the young and new ophthalmologists who look up to them. We often talk about academics and bookish knowledge, but we tend to forget that most learning is done through daily life experiences. Therefore, Sante would like to inaugurate this weekly broadcast with one of Pakistan's well-known and prominent ophthalmologists. His name is itself enough when I'll take the name, and I'm sure everyone will know who I am talking about. So I would like to introduce Professor Nadeem Hafiz Butt. He is the head of Department of Ophthalmology and Director of Medical Education at Allama Iqbal Medical College and Jinnah Hospital, Lahore. He is the former president of Ophthalmological Society of Pakistan and the national and international coordinator Pakistan Glaucoma Association. So, Assalamu alaikum, Professor Nadeem. First of all, thank you for coming, and thank you for being our first guest and inaugurating this weekly broadcast, Nazariya. Would you like to say a few words about Nazariya?
Yes. As always, Sante has taken a new initiative, and this initiative is also very unique, like all their previous initiatives. And I would like to congratulate Taqir and his team for taking again a lead in creating this and developing the whole platform of Nazariya for the young ophthalmologists as well as for the practicing ophthalmologists.
I agree with you, and thank you so much for appreciating our effort, and inshallah we will be able to make a change in treating glaucoma and spreading more awareness about it. So let's get on with the focus of our conversation today, which is glaucoma and experience, of course. So my first question with you, Professor Nadeem, is that would you like to share with the viewers what is glaucoma, basically?
Basically, if this video goes to the ophthalmologists and the students of ophthalmology, they are already familiar with glaucoma and the definition of glaucoma. But if it is also meant for the general public, then I would like to give the definition in very simple and common man's language words. I will also give you the technical definition, but also one definition which is a basic definition for glaucoma. Technically speaking, it's a glaucomatous. It's a specific type of optic neuropathy in which there are changes in the visual fields as a form of functional loss of vision and changes in the optic disc as a form of structural loss or structural damage, which is happening because of the intraocular pressure, which may be raised or it may not be raised in certain types of glaucoma. But intraocular pressure is the only modifiable risk factor because of which the treatments are developed and patients are treated on the basis of intraocular pressure. So in common man's language, we can say that there is a change in the pressure of the eyeball, and both the eyeballs behave differently. They may have different pressures, and because of this pressure, there is a damage to the optic nerve. An optic nerve is something which is a connection between the eyeball and the brain. It conducts all the signals from the eyeball to the brain. Therefore, if the optic nerve is damaged, the signal transmission is blocked and the patient's vision is also blocked. So, in common man's words, और अगर हम इसको उर्दू में भी कहना चाहें तो ये भी कह सकते हैं कि इसमें आंख का दबाव, जिस तरह ब्लड प्रेशर होता है बॉडी के अंदर, इसी तरह आंख के अंदर भी प्रेशर होता है और इसके अंदर भी एक दबाव होता है जिसकी रेंज 10 से लेके 20 तक होती है. अगर प्रेशर इस रेंज के अंदर ना रहे उस आंख के लिए, तो फिर इसकी वजह से ऑप्टिक नर्व जो पीछे की नस है जो आंख को दिमाग के साथ जोड़ती है, वो डैमेज होना शुरू हो जाती है और उसके डैमेज होने की वजह से पेशेंट को नजर आना बंद हो जाता है. तो इसलिए ये बीमारी ऐसी है कि जो भी इसमें विजन का लॉस होता है, दैट इज इरिवर्सिबल. इट कैन नॉट बी रिवर्टेड बैक, एंड व्हाटएवर इज डैमेज फॉर एवर. So that's the importance of this disease in comparison to the other diseases of the eyes.
That was very well explained, and I think it's easier to understand for the general public as well as the future or young ophthalmologists, which they already, I'm sure, know. But your explanation was pretty easy to understand for a layman. Next question is also related to glaucoma. Since you explained what glaucoma is, what are the most common types of glaucoma? Glaucoma occurrence, especially in Pakistan.
Glaucoma, if we describe the classification or nomenclature of glaucoma, the glaucoma can be congenital, which means that it is present at the time of birth, or maybe in a few months after birth, it starts showing its symptoms and signs. And the second type is an acquired type, which is acquired in the later years of life. It may be in the younger years of life, or it may be in the older years of life. And in this acquired type, we have two main types: the primary glaucomas and the secondary glaucomas. By primary glaucoma, I mean that if you try to find out the cause of glaucoma in these people or in these eyes, you would not be able to find a cause. If you don't find a cause, then we label it as a primary glaucoma. If we are able to find a cause after examination of the eyeball or the general systemic examination of the patient, then we call it as a secondary type of glaucoma. Again, in the primary and secondary, we again have two types each. In the primary glaucoma, we have primary open angle glaucoma and primary close angle glaucoma or narrow angle glaucoma. Similarly, in the secondary type also, we have secondary open angle glaucoma and secondary narrow angle or close angle glaucoma. So this is the broad outline or nomenclature of glaucoma. And this is for the consumption of the ophthalmologists and the students of ophthalmology. For a general public or layman, this classification doesn't mean anything. They have a problem, and that problem needs to be identified properly by the ophthalmologist, classified and labeled whatever type of glaucoma the patient is suffering from, and then the treatment should be planned accordingly.
Agreed. What do you think is the prevalence of glaucoma patients in Pakistan generally? And also, I want to know that what is the prevalence of glaucoma patients in your clinic and during your practice? You can also share with us any cases you would like regarding glaucoma, if you have any specific case.
ऐसे है the prevalence we had a survey of in Pakistan related to different eye diseases way back in 70s, and then we had the survey repeated in 90s, and since then we don't have any survey done. There is a survey which is going on, but the report is still to be published. But as far as the figures are concerned, the figures vary from region to region. If we talk about it globally, and the types of glaucoma also varies from one region to another. Like open angle glaucoma is quite common in the African races, whereas closed glaucoma is common in the Chinese races and the cousins of the Chinese, like like Thailand, like Singapore, and mainland China. So the angle closure is more prevalent there, whereas open angle is more in the African side. Whereas the Caucasians, like Australians and the Americans, Europeans, British, they are somewhere in between, and they have almost equal incidence of open angle and narrow angle. But open angle is little more in comparison to the angle. And second observation is that the open angle tends to be more common in the older age group, like late 50s, 60s, or 70s, whereas the narrow angle glaucoma is more common in the younger age groups, especially in the mid 40s and early 50s, and more so in the women as compared to the men. The angle closure glaucoma is more common in the women. The different anatomy, different of the eyeball, smaller spaces in comparison to the men. They tend to suffer more from the angle closure. But I'm not saying that angle closure cannot happen to men. I've seen many patients also having shallow anterior chambers and narrow angles, and they may or may not suffer from attack of angle closure, but they had narrow angles. When we do the gonioscopy, a test which is able to tell us about the depth of the or breadth of the angle, we do the gonioscopy and we find out whether the angle is narrow or it's open. So through that, we are able to find out the different categories of glaucoma. As far as my experience about different cases is concerned, ever since I'm working for glaucoma, the number of patients, particularly in my own clinic, they are rising every day and every month, because with the passage of time, more people and more patients in public know that I practice glaucoma, so they somehow find out from the internet or from the
Word
other
of mouth.
ophthalmologists and to visit my clinic to seek opinion about their existing disease and the long-term and short-term management of the problem. And member suffers from glaucoma and they come to me, and then following all the related patients of that person or that family, they start coming because from that patient they know that I am practicing glaucoma and I have subspecialty interest in glaucoma. Therefore, and I also get referrals from periphery eye specialists. They tend to send the patients for opinion and also for surgical management of these patients when they find that they need some support from my clinic or hospital. They send the patients for opinion, and then giving my opinion, I refer them back to the concerned surgeon, and then they manage the patient themselves, or they sometimes send it to me that I go ahead for the surgery or whatever treatment is needed. So this is a type of practice that is happening. Of course, the practice of other diseases is also going on simultaneously. But since I have deep interest in glaucoma, I give special attention to these patients, more time to these patients, and try to evaluate them thoroughly so that once they are evaluated, their diagnosis is very clear and their decision for their treatment and management is also very clear. So the patients don't have to come to my clinic again and again for the purpose of diagnosis. I just call them once or maybe twice to complete their tests so that the whole picture of their disease is in front of me. All their tests and all their investigations are there, and we have a comprehensive view of their diagnosis. And then according to that, we start the management of the patients. So when we start the management of the patients, then there are certain interesting things to be shared. Some of the patients, they come to me when their disease is already gone past the middle stage, or they have already reached the advanced stage. They are either already on the treatment of some other doctor, or they even don't know about their disease. Even the disease has gone to the last stage, but they just come for some other purpose, like checking of their glasses or some conjunctival problem, some irritation in the eyes. But as a matter of principle, when I see their optic disc, I see the optic disc of every patient that wants a consultation from me, whether whatever is the age and whatever is the the disease of the patient. But I see the fundus, especially the optic disc, and then if I find that it is a suspicious optic disc, I make the patient wait, and the pupils are dilated with the help of drops, and then I'm able to see the optic disc very clearly, and that gives me a lot of information about the diagnosis of the patient. And of course, the intraocular pressure is also checked whenever we see that there is a problem in the patient. So one category of the patients is that they don't even know about their disease, although the disease has gone to a very late stage. And some of the patients know that they are suffering from this problem. They are already on treatment, and then they come for second opinion or they come for follow-up. Then we see whether the treatment they are already taking, is that treatment enough or sufficient for them, and that is giving us good results or controlling the intraocular pressure, and their visual fields and their OCT charts are stable and they're not progressing. And if they're not progressing and they're stable, then we maintain them on the same treatment. And if we find that they need some additional treatment, then of course the additional treatment is given, And if we also find that this patient is not going to be better with the help of medical treatment, then sometimes we move on to the stage of surgical treatment, and then surgical treatment is discussed with the patient. All the pros and cons are given to the patient, and then the surgery is performed if the surgery is needed. So the patients, the variety of patients is huge. All types of patients from different areas of Punjab and sometimes from other provinces also visit, and then they are managed accordingly.
Okay, so since there is quite some prevalence in Pakistan as well, and we have already discussed what glaucoma is, its types, the flow of patients basically in your clinic and in your practice, I would like to know how important is really the early diagnosis in treating glaucoma?
This is a very good question and very important question. Early diagnosis is very important, and it's a mainstay of management of glaucoma. जो हमारा एक स्लोगन भी है कि ग्लोकोमा का इलाज कल नहीं आज, ये पाकिस्तान ग्लोकोमा एसोसिएशन का एक स्लोगन है, जिससे ये चीज शोज इटसेल्फ कि इसको डिले नहीं करना, इसके ट्रीटमेंट में ना इसके डायग्नोसिस में. अब अर्ली डायग्नोसिस कैसे, हाउ टू डू द अर्ली डायग्नोसिस? अर्ली डायग्नोसिस इज ओनली पॉसिबल if we evaluate the patient thoroughly. If the patient comes to you and is sitting on your slit lamp and you are examining the patient and you don't see the disc thoroughly, you don't measure the intraocular pressure, then the early diagnosis is not possible. This will never happen. It can only be possible if you examine the patient thoroughly and don't miss these findings. And for that, you have to have an optimum index of suspicion. आपके जहन में ये बात होनी चाहिए कि मैंने इस पेशेंट की ये चीज जरूर रूल आउट करनी है. आई हैव टू रूल आउट दिस थिंग दैट द पेशेंट इज नॉट सफरिंग फ्रॉम glaucoma, and that can only be done by examining the optic disc and measuring the intraocular pressure. After the age of 40, every patient needs all these things. The patient needs to, their intraocular pressure needs to be checked, and optic disc and macula has to be seen in every patient. Younger patients also, we see the optic disc because sometimes I have many patients who are under 40 and they are suffering from glaucoma, and they are on treatment with me for last many years. I have a patient who's basically resident of Hyderabad, but married to one of his cousins in Lahore, and she lives in Lahore, and she came just for the checkup of her glasses, and I found out that she's suffering from glaucoma. And then on detailed history, we also found that her grandmother also had glaucoma, and one of the other uncles is also suffering from glaucoma. So she now has a family history of glaucoma, and now I have started her management on medical therapy, and she's just 27 years old, and her management is going on for last 2 years. I regularly get her visual fields checked and OCTs checked, and they are mashallah stable. So she's also happy with the treatment, that just with the 2 drops, she's quite comfortable, and her fields and her OCTs are stable. So this is a disease which can show up itself in many younger age groups, not just above 40. So we need to see the disc thoroughly for all the patients.
So
early diagnosis is very important. Early diagnosis is very important. So if you lose the time of early diagnosis and the patient is missed, and then the patient comes back again after many years, then that time is lost. All that damage has happened, and now if you do the treatment, you're just saving whatever 10% or 20% of vision and visual field is saved. Otherwise, the 70-80% damage has already been done. So early diagnosis is really very important for the maintenance of visual fields and vision of the patient.
I agree with the experience that you shared and the case that you shared with us, that I was not expecting that such a young patient can also be diagnosed with glaucoma, and I'm sure that this is a very essential piece of information that the general public specifically that needs to know, and also the ophthalmologists, that they also need to know that we have to check beyond the general checkup, and we have to see the ocular disc, and we have to see that if the patient could be possibly a glaucoma patient. Since there is a talk about diagnosis and also about the how much patients are incoming. So I would like to basically know that how should one or the ophthalmologist should treat glaucoma, and how should the treatment initiated in the patient, and secondly that what is your choice of treatment while you are treating a glaucoma patient.
There are certain standards which are set by the international community managing glaucoma, like World Glaucoma Association, Asia Pacific Glaucoma Association Society, and we also have Pakistan Glaucoma Association. From the platform of Pakistan Glaucoma Association, we have already published national guidelines for the diagnosis and management of glaucoma, and those guidelines were published in huge numbers of more than 2,000, and they were distributed to each and every ophthalmologist of the country. And all those guidelines have been thoroughly discussed by all the senior members of Pakistan Glaucoma Association, and they have given their input, and it has been published and distributed. So those guidelines are already with all our ophthalmologists, and we as custodians of Pakistan Glaucoma Association tend to update that glaucoma guidelines on 3-yearly or 5-yearly basis, and modify that and make new additions of that. Now, the basic question, how to start the treatment. Before we start the treatment, the thorough effort of making a correct diagnosis is very important. Treating a patient who is not suffering from glaucoma and giving him the diagnosis wrongly that you are a patient of glaucoma. This is another category which is present is in the field, that sometimes the patients come to you and you are not convinced that these are the patients of glaucoma. They are already on treatment, and they're already on treatment for quite some time. Then taking that patient off from treatment is a very difficult decision, because that patient is now mentally ready and he has understood that he is suffering from glaucoma. On telling him that you are not suffering from glaucoma, there are certain steps for that. You have to taper off the treatment, stop the treatment, and then keep the patient on follow-up for many years, not just few months, many years, so that you clearly see that the glaucoma is not there on every visit of the patient. 1 or 2 very high-profile patients I have managed who were not suffering from glaucoma, and they were being treated, and it was a very sensitive task to shift them back from glaucoma to no glaucoma and stop their treatment, because if certain damage occurs to them later on, then you are responsible for that, because you said to them that you don't have glaucoma, stop all those medicines. It's a very risky thing, but if the patient is not suffering from glaucoma, the patient should not be labeled as a case of glaucoma and should not be treated like that. Now, the second question, how to start the treatment. The standard practice is that we always start from prostaglandin analog. We start from prostaglandin analog. We don't jump to more than one medicine. We start from one medicine and start that. But in a case where the patient is already an established case of glaucoma, he has not stopped taking medicines, now he is visiting you, and the intraocular pressures are something in the range of 30, you know that this patient is not going to be controlled with just one medicine. But despite that, we start with one medicine just to see the level of control that medicine achieves. That medicine achieves with one medicine, and then the second medicine is added after 2 to 3 weeks of that treatment. And when we see that this treatment has been going on and it's not giving us adequate control of intraocular pressure, then we add the medicine, and sometimes we have to move to the fixed combination.
Since we have discussed thoroughly about glaucoma and its treatment as well, my last question would be with you, that what is the advice that you would like to give the young ophthalmologists or the upcoming ophthalmologists who actually look up to you, and they consider you as their teacher and their leader? So what is the advice that you would like to give them?
You see that in our in our specialty in ophthalmology, we have a very good culture of mutual cooperation, friendship, and loyalty to the specialty. And our seniors, our elders have nurtured this specialty with passion, with care, and with love. And that's the spirit that we pass on to our younger generation, to our next generation of ophthalmologists, and we treat them with kindness and with love, and we try to train them for the future of this country. So no one is immortal. Everyone has to leave this world and then make space for the other people who are coming behind him. So we have to train them so that once we are not there, they are there to serve our country and serve our patients. So we try to teach them, make them learn all these things that we have learned ourselves, and we pass on this knowledge and information to them. My guideline or suggestions or advice to the younger generation will be, number one is to be very kind to the patients. And this kindness has no extra cost. You can just be kind to the fellow human beings, especially to the patients, because they come to you in a suffering. They come to you in a suffering. They are not in a happy mood, or they are not in a mood of enjoyment. They come to you whenever they have a problem. And when they come with a problem, you have to support them, you have to serve them with kindness, so that half of their illness goes away just by your kindness and just by your good communication. So the second important principle is good communication. So once you are kind and you have good communication, you should just never worry about the number of patients that you are going to see. If you have these two qualities in your personality, you will have so many patients that you won't find time to see all those patients. वो आपका रश मरीजों का कभी खत्म नहीं होगा सारी जिंदगी, अगर आपकी ज़बान मीठी है, आप बात प्यार से करते हैं और आपकी कम्युनिकेशन अच्छी है, आप मरीज की बात सुनते भी हैं और अपनी बात समझाते भी हैं। ठीक है, मैं अल्लाह के फजल करम से, अगर अल्लाह ताला ने मुझे कोई थोड़ी बहुत इज्जत या नाम मरीजों के दरमियान दिया है, आप यकीन करें कि वो सिर्फ ये दो बातें हैं। तीसरी बात जो सबसे ज़रूरी है, वो मरीज के लिए उस वक्त उतनी ज़रूरी नहीं होती, वो आपकी टेक्निकल स्किल और आपका नॉलेज है। अगर आपका टेक्निकल स्किल और नॉलेज है और उसके साथ आप काइंड हैं और आपकी कम्युनिकेशन अच्छी है और आप अवेलेबल हैं टू द पेशेंट्स, ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता कि आपकी प्रैक्टिस ना चले। ये प्रैक्टिस आपकी इंशाल्लाह ऐसी चलेगी कि आपको कभी फुर्सत नहीं मिलेगी। आपके पास ये तीन चीज़ें होनी चाहिए, आपकी कम्युनिकेशन बहुत अच्छी हो, काइंड और लव के साथ, और मरीज के साथ आप फेथफुल हो। आप ये ना सोचें कि ये इससे मुझे क्या फ़ायदा होगा, आप ये सोचें कि पेशेंट्स का किस चीज़ में फ़ायदा है, उसका इलाज किस तरह बेहतर है, उसके लिए मेडिसिन बेहतर है कि सर्जरी बेहतर है, कि अभी उसको वेट करना बेहतर है। ठीक है, तो ये सब चीज़ें अगर आप रखेंगे, मरीजों को फौरन पता लग जाता है कि डॉक्टर उसके साथ कितना सिंसियर है, और उस हिसाब से, उस सिंसियरिटी के हिसाब से वो डॉक्टर्स को जज करते हैं। और अगर एक दफ़ा उनको कॉन्फिडेंस हो जाए तो वो कभी उस डॉक्टर को नहीं छोड़ते। तो ग्लोकोमा तो एक लिंगरिंग डिजीज है, इट्स अ लाइफ लॉन्ग डिजीज। अगर वो पेशेंट आपके साथ एक दफ़ा अटैच हो गया, वो सारी जिंदगी के लिए अटैच है, वो हमेशा आप ही के पास चेकअप के लिए आएगा, कभी वो इधर उधर कहीं नहीं जाएगा, अगर उसके ऊपर उसका आपके ऊपर कॉन्फिडेंस है। दूसरा, ग्लोकोमा के हवाले से, ग्लोकोमा पेशेंट्स नीड मोर टाइम। उनको सारी बीमारी को समझाना, उनके लिए एक बम गिरता है उनके ऊपर जब उनको पता चलता है कि मुझे काला मोतिया हो गया है, और इस काले मोतिया फौरन गूगल करते हैं और गूगल में ये लिखा होता है कि काले मोतिया से इंसान अंधा हो जाता है। सो इट्स ए वेरी शॉकिंग न्यूज़ फॉर देम। सो उस शॉक में से उनको निकालना जो है वो आपका काम। आपने उनको तसल्ली देनी है कि नहीं ठीक है, लेकिन अगर आप इलाज करेंगे, आपका प्रेशर कंट्रोल रहेगा, हर चीज़ ठीक रहेगी, तो ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है, ये बीमारी को रोका जा सकता है। ठीक है ना, जैसे डायबिटीज़ है, हाइपरटेंशन है, उसके साथ भी बहुत सारे पेशेंट्स की डेथ होती है, लेकिन बहुत सारे पेशेंट्स के साथ अच्छी ज़िंदगी भी गुजारते हैं जो अपना कंट्रोल ठीक रखते हैं। तो उस लिहाज से आप उनको एग्जांपल ये दे सकते हैं कि अगर आप अपना कंट्रोल ठीक रखेंगे तो आपकी ज़िंदगी अच्छी गुजरेगी। ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है कि आप खुदा खास्ता बहुत जल्दी ब्लाइंड हो जाएंगे या सब कुछ हो जाए। तो टाइम देना पड़ता है पेशेंट्स और ग्लोकोमा को। बाकी बीमारियों को आप अगर उनको इतना आप समझा देते हैं, पेशेंट को कम्युनिकेट कर देते हैं, लेकिन ग्लोकोमा के पेशेंट को समझाना और फिर उसके हर विजिट पे यू हैव टू टेक अ फॉलो अप कि उसने दवाइयाँ टाइम पे डाली नहीं डाली, कब वो दिखाने आ रहे हैं, कब नहीं जा रहे हैं, कब उनके टेस्ट होने चाहिए, कब उनका फॉलोअप होना चाहिए, ये सब चीजें उनके साथ एक लेजॉन आपका चलना चाहिए और एक कम्युनिकेशन चलनी चाहिए, तो फिर उसके साथ बहुत अच्छा सारा सिस्टम रहता है। तो मेरी यही एक हम्बल सी एडवाइस है टू दी जूनियर्स।
I think Professor Nadeem, आपकी advice जो है वो it was very enlightening and I think आपने एक तो पहला ये बताया कि advice में कि जो है वो एक community है ophthalmology की और हम लोगों को learning जो है वो promote करनी चाहिए, जो भी seniors है उनको juniors में। फिर you also mentioned कि kindness is very important and communication is very important with the patient. The ophthalmologist should be very kind and they should listen to the patient as well, which I also agree. Kindness जो है वो is cost, मतलब आपकी it does not cost anything, which you also said. Then you also your third advice was to have a good technical knowledge about the subject and the treating of glaucoma. And lastly, you mentioned that counseling is very important. Patient counseling, और patient को आप पे trust होगा तो ही आपके पास वो वापस आएगा, वरना वो नहीं आएगा. Which I think this is a golden advice जो होती है, जो आप leading doctors से जो आती है हमारे पास, वो यही होती है. And I'm sure that the viewers that are going to be watching this and are listening to your advice will be looking forward कि वो आगे से वो इंशाल्लाह वो भी यही इसी तरह practice करेंगे. Thank you so much, Professor Nadeem, for joining with us here today, and it was a pleasure to have this conversation with you, and I'm sure your profound knowledge and experience will be helpful to the viewers and the young ophthalmologists who want to be like you one day. I will end
Thank you very much to you and to Sante and to Takir and the whole of his team.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I will end this session by saying experience is the teacher of all things, and indeed it is true, as you, Professor Nadeem, have so rightly shared us with the Nazariya, your Nazariya, and prove that experiences teach beyond books. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Professor, once again, and Allah Hafiz.